Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome to the City Council meeting, April 13th, 2026. Roll call, please.
Jones,
Here.
Vixen,
Here.
Clauser. Here. Hauser,
Here.
King,
Here.
Salvia,
Here.
Trent.
Here.
Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up, we have public comment scheduled, non-scheduled, and presentations, and we are starting with the swearing in of our deputy city clerk as the interim city clerk. And we're going to stand up front and do this. Very good. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and will faithfully discharge the duties of interim city clerk for the city of Rochester beginning April 13th, 2026, to the best of your abilities?
All right.
Good. All right. Awesome.
Yeah, while the mayor's coming back, so we've been checking on Brian. He's doing his best. So maybe we'll get him back in May. But again, Megan's just been a rock star, so we're thankful for that. And Holly is online, so Holly and Meg are switching duties here for the meeting. So Holly's online when we want to see if anybody's online.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hi, Holly. All right, we are now getting to the exciting presentation of the Bird City certification from the Michigan Audubon Society. And Linda's going to come up, and just as a little background, at a Michigan Municipal League convention, she had a table there, and both Marilyn and I were at that, and I just started chatting with her and said, geez, we do a lot of things right in Rochester, maybe we could become a bird city. And then we started talking, and then she came to a City Beautiful Commission meeting, and now we are here where we are because we had already accomplished so much of what they needed. And Nick was very helpful, Marilyn, Councilmember Trent was very helpful, and Janine, if you can come up with her, who is the chair of City Beautiful, who also was very instrumental of making this happen. And you guys can come up to the podium and take it from here, however you want to do this.
Well, like I said, I'd like to get a photo, but
Okay.
We'll do that after.
Yeah, you can do your presentation, and then we will do a photo.
put this right here.
Sure.
All right, I didn't know I'd be on the mic, but that's cool. Yeah. Thanks so much for inviting me here. My name is Linda Smith, and I work for Michigan Audubon. I'm the Director of Partnerships. I'm also the Bird City Michigan Coordinator. And today I'm just here to recognize the City of Rochester as a Bird City Michigan community. I want to recognize you for your commitment to environmental sustainability, for all of your efforts to create and protect bird and wildlife habitat, and also for everything you do to engage the public in bird-friendly actions. I do want to congratulate Janine and the Rochester City Beautiful Commission for the application. Rochester is a shining example of a Bird City, Michigan community. Janine completed the application in record time. And I wanted you to know that the City of Rochester is now one of almost 300 Bird City communities in the Western Hemisphere under the umbrella of the Bird City Network. I do need to also thank and acknowledge Ford Motor Company because they're our founding partner of Bird City, Michigan. And yeah, I guess with that, I just want to present the certificate to the council.
Before you do,
Yeah.
I just wonder, does anyone have any questions? I think my one question would be, there isn't a ton in Michigan though, correct? How many?
Correct. We have 8 Bird City communities in Michigan right now, and we just started the program in January of 2025, so just over a year. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right, come on up and we can do a
Okay.
photo.
Great.
Janine, come up, and I feel like if anybody else on the City Beautiful Committee is here, if they want to come up.
On the Bird City Rochester team, like I know
Yes.
Maryland's a part of it.
That sounds great. Nick doesn't want to go. Okay, you go on up.
But you're on City Beautiful. You're a liaison, right?
I'm not anymore, Jessica is.
Oh.
So Marilyn, Jessica, Laura,
I'll take a picture.
I'll go up and we'll get a photo.
Thanks for being the photographer there. I'm gonna put the picture on social media if you wanna share it on the.
We will absolutely share it, yes. Well, I don't feel like I did anything. I'll take that. I've been in a lot of photos today.
It's easy.
It's all good.
Marilyn, watch your hand.
I couldn't help it. Laura Murphy, thank you for all your work.
I feel like we need a
Without you,
bird
we have no
call.
birds. Yes, thank you. That's a great sign.
And where are we going to put the sign?
In the park?
We're putting all of this. Yes. Awesome, thank you, Linda
Hey,
Smith, for
perhaps everyone
coming.
moved away from you. Nothing.
Oh, cool. Do we take one? Take one, pass it along. Okay, very good, that was exciting, yay. Okay, and now we have a group of Rochester High School students who have started an organization that they're gonna share information about called Healthy Heart. Come on up and introduce yourself each, please, and then we will listen to what you're all about. You can come up to the mic, everybody.
Need a new laptop.
You can all stand up there if you want. Yeah. And then we'll do a photo at the end, because I know you guys need that.
Hi, my name is Johanna Wesley.
My name is Brooklyn Brico. My name is Stella Zanotti. My name is Marwa El Hasnawi.
And my name is Rachel Burke. We are a group of students from Rochester High School. As part of our school's HOSA chapter, or Health Occupation Students of America, we are competing in an event called Community Awareness, where our number one priority is to spread awareness about heart health to our community. Our campaign, Hope for Hearts, focus on why heart health is so important and how to keep your heart healthy in a world where poor heart health is so uncommon.
And for our campaign, we did many things throughout our school, such as CPR and AED training with the former chief of police. We also have done bake sales and pose if you support heart health throughout our school, along with other flyers and presenting to classrooms about heart health. We've also partnered with Corewell Health about doing CPR and AED training, where over 400 students learn how to do CPR and AEDs. We've also done support Women's Heart Health on Women's Heart Health National Day, and we had our whole school participate in that. And we've also used social media as a great platform to get our message across.
We chose to do heart health because many of us have personal stories from our team that we all kind of like relate to. Heart health is so important to me because my dad had 7 heart blockages, which caused his life to change forever. After he had open heart surgery, he is grateful to be healthy after that surgery, and he plans to live a long, heart healthy life. And this is so important because he first thought it was a common cold, and after diagnosis, he found out he had heart issues, and that just emphasizes the importance of taking the pain seriously and understanding your symptoms.
Heart health is an extremely important topic for me on a day-to-day basis because I have a heart issue called a heart murmur, which basically means that my heart beats irregularly, and I cannot have too much of caffeine, too much sugar. I have to make sure my diet is balanced, and I have to make sure that I exercise in order to keep my heart healthy and prevent further heart issues.
Heart health is very important to me because I had a grandpa that died at a very young age due to heart failure. And recently we had a family member who had multiple blockages in his heart and had to undergo open heart surgery, and he's recovering and plans to live a successful rest of his life.
So why does heart health matter? Your heart health is central to your overall body health. A strong, healthy heart is crucial for physical and mental health, enabling you to enjoy activities, spend time with loved ones, and live a long, fulfilling life.
In the United States, heart disease is the #1 leading cause of death in the United States. As well as 1 million deaths annually are caused by heart disease, and 30% global mortality is accounted for all heart diseases. While in our community, heart disease is the #1 leading cause of death in Oakland County and in the Metro Detroit area. Additionally, 100,000 deaths alone are due to heart disease in Michigan, and 18% of people who die are due to heart disease in the Metro Detroit area. Let alone 3,006 people died from heart diseases in Oakland County in 2024. A survey taken by most residents here in the Metro Detroit area have said that the most common factors are due to high blood pressure, which was 26%, high cholesterol with 17%, smoking, which was 12.3%, and obesity, which was 6%.
This graph shows cardiovascular diseases on a chart.
So what can heart issues lead to? Heart issues can lead to coronary issues and heart failure. Coronary issues are when plaque builds up in the heart's arteries, causing narrowing of the arterial walls, and it limits oxygenated blood to reach other parts of the body. This leads to chest pain, intense coughing, fatigue, and even heart attacks. Heart failure is when the heart is unable to pump blood efficiently, and symptoms would be shortness of breath, extreme fatigue, swelling of the abdomen and lower limbs, coughing, and rapid/irregular heart rate.
Stroke, especially related to heart-related issues, is when a blood clot from your heart travels to your brain, and this can lead to numbness in the arms and the legs, and half of your face drooping, slurred speech, and many other things. Hypertension, on the other hand, is when your blood pressure exceeds over 180/20, which is very high because the normal is 120/80, and you don't have a lot of symptoms. You can't know until you have hypertension unless you have major life-threatening issues such as organ failure. But if they are symptoms, they're usually very uncommon. Runny nose, like a bloody nose, chest pain, and vertigo and dizziness.
What are some of the risk factors? Some of the risk factors include smoking, which damages your blood vessels and leads to increase in blood pressure. Diets in high sugars, trans fats, and sodiums, which raises your bad cholesterol and lowers your good cholesterol. Physical inactivity, which increases your fatty buildup in the heart. Obesity, which leads to high blood pressure, cholesterol, or even diabetes. And chronic stress, which keeps you at a high heart rate and increase in blood pressure.
So we thought that instead of showing statistics from across the world and over the country, it'd be more impactful to pull statistics from our community. So these are all taken from the Michigan Center for Cardiovascular Diseases, so from our community. And as you can see on the upper left, cardiovascular disease by racial ethnic group. If you are not white, you're more likely to be diagnosed or self-report struggling from a heart issue, and that is based on issues both biological and systemic. And cardiovascular disease by poor physical health, this one's really eye-catching and important because it shows that you have a much higher risk of having a heart issue if you have poor physical health, which is so important, especially today, because a lot of people are taking on more sedentary lifestyles and they're making poor choices from a younger age, so it's important to focus on that. And then by age group, this one was pretty expected, but as you get older, you are more likely to develop a heart issue, and that's actually because, I mean, as you get older, your body isn't in its biological prime anymore, and you should put more care into taking care of your heart.
I'm in my prime, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's the outlier.
Because he's physically active.
And this is by sex assigned at birth. So if you're male, you're actually more likely to suffer from heart issue, and that's due to a variety of reasons. So for example, estrogen is a protective hormone in the heart and in the arteries. So if you have more estrogen, you have less chance of having a heart blockage, and obviously women have more estrogen than men. And then also men are more likely to have abdominal or visceral obesity, and obesity leads to high cholesterol, which could lead to heart failure.
So what are some common warning signs of a developing heart issue? Chest pain, shortness of breath, numbness in the legs or arms, and dizziness. If you experience any of these symptoms, make sure you see a physician to prevent further heart issues.
Okay, and here are 10 ways to a healthier heart. 1, eat smart, so choose a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. 2, move more. 3, quit tobacco. 4, manage stress. 5, monitor vitals such as blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. 6, sleep well, and by sleep well we mean sleep for 7 to 9 hours every night. 7, maintain a healthy weight for your physical builds. 8, limit alcohol. 9, stay hydrated, and 10, see your doctor.
So what can we do to help? So healthier school lunches, because a lot of us tend to eat lunches at school, and the stuff they provide there is not the most nutritious, with like around pizza every day, not the healthiest option. More active time during the school day, especially being in high school, you're sitting in class the whole entire time, you don't have recess anymore, you don't go outside anymore, and just like kind of sitting there. Less processed food and more fruit and vegetables is very important, especially when you're an athlete at school and it's hard to get more access to fruit and veggies. Reduce stress levels, which is also, again, a very hard thing during high school and like college and as you get older, because school gets stressful, especially junior year. We have our SAT tomorrow, and we have a lot of testing coming up, and so our stress levels are pretty high, which is not very good. Getting lots of sleep, again, very hard to do on a high school day-to-day, and staying hydrated. Water is very important over soda and energy drinks.
So here's some of the big takeaways. According to the CDC, 80% of heart-related issues are preventable through simple lifestyle changes. Check in with your doctor or health provider regularly. Don't push it off. Eat a healthier, more well-rounded diet. And be aware of family history of heart-related issues in order to be better prepared.
And remember, a healthy heart starts with you.
Aww.
First off, thanks for your commitment that you have SATs tomorrow and you're here tonight. So hopefully this was a good distraction. Does any council members have any questions?
Thank
All
you.
right, if you want to come up and get a photo,
Photo with the mayor.
Yes.
That's it.
you come up with me too. We'll be at each other.
Yes, Stuart.
Yes.
Well, if I'm still in my prime and can get out of my chair, right? I mean,
Walk slowly, yes.
Give him a bottle of water.
You got it?
You weren't the group that also gave us the body donation program. Kind of ironic that it was. Yeah.
That's so great. I know. Oh, one more. They won't see me. I'm like this. They can't see me. Yes.
Thinking about everything I'm doing wrong. It's just pretty much everything on that list. Yes. All right, approval of the consent agenda. We have the receipt of the meeting minutes for February 23rd, March 9th, March 23rd, and the special meeting minutes of February 28th and March 7th, 2026. And then we also have consideration to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to submit a reimbursement request to Oakland County in the amount of $1,621.15 under the West Nile Virus Prevention Reimbursement Program. And we are going to have Nick Schaefer come up, if that's okay. Can you talk about that for a minute, please? And then we'll need a motion to approve both of those, or all three of them. Check registers at the bottom also. Just a quick overview.
Yeah, so it's, we pretty much just go out and treat for the West now. We put in the storm drains and something we do every year, so it's a great program and it's reimbursed, so it's relatively cheap, so yeah.
And we've been doing that for a long time,
Yeah,
I
long
assume.
time.
With the
Yeah.
little cakes and the sewer grates.
So every sewer drain
Yeah, right
gets,
into the storms, so.
What is it? I'm sorry.
you can explain it again, please.
Sorry.
We pretty much,
That's okay.
treat the storm drains for West now. so.
Okay. All right.
So every storm
This
drain
summer.
has done this, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seems like something we have to do.
Right, that
So-
time of the year.
All right, okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, and then we also have the receipt of the check register report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
Councilmember Trent? All right, roll call.
Jones?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes.
Bowser?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Friend?
Yes.
Great. We have no old business. We have no public hearings, no legislative deliberation. For reports and regular business, we have consideration,
Excuse me.
did I miss
You
something?
asked for,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Out there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you,
think
thank
there's
you,
somebody
keeping
out
my
there.
check.
Yeah.
Sorry. Ah, is there any public comment? Please come up to the podium. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, my name is John Brabs. I live on Elizabeth Street, and I've been a resident here in Rochester for almost 28 years. My comments on I know the public restrooms at the police station have been closed since around the November timeframe, and I've heard that they may not open to the public. I've used them a lot over the last 15 years when I'm out running or walking near, the park here in Rochester, or on the Paint Creek Trail. The public restrooms at the police station have always been a great resource since they are available 24 hours, 7 days a week. They've always been clean and in great condition. I know there are other restrooms in the park, but the challenge has always been that some of them get shut down in the wintertime. And also, they usually are not open before 8 a.m. And I'm not sure what time they close at night. A lot of times I've been out running before 8 a.m. in the morning, whether it's in the weekdays or the weekends. And over the years, a lot of people that run, walk, or cycle from the Rochester City Park are here before like 8 a.m. on weekdays or on the weekends, especially as the weather gets warmer and the sun comes up early. There are a lot of people that meet people for group runs or walks during the weekdays or after work or on the weekends. And they've used these restrooms. These same people go out to eat at restaurants, so it has been nice to have these public restrooms to use for changing after runs. I've met people for runs on Saturdays and Tuesdays for more than 15 years from the park. They are close to the park for people to use, where the other ones that are available, especially when the weather gets warmer, are either across the pond or across the bridge into the park. And it seems like other options to make public restrooms available that close to where everybody parks would be a lot more expensive than reopening something that's been available for a long time. And, like I said, I know for sure they've been available for more than 15 years. I'm not sure exactly how long they were open to the public, but, over the years, they've been nice to know that these public restrooms are available, and they're a great resource to attract people to meet at the Rochester City Park and then go out to eat after their runs, walks, bike rides, or hanging out in the park with friends or families. So I guess, one of my questions is, if there really is a plan to not have them available to the public, what could be done to change the mind on that, since they've been available for more than 15 years? And then, do you have more information on the status of those public restrooms? And if not, if they weren't gonna be, if nothing's gonna be available and there's no way to make them available, what other options could be made to kind of support what they've been able to support with people? And, like I said, as you can probably see today, there's a ton of people out there in the park. And, if you come down here, weekday mornings, a lot of times there's people, as well as like the weekends, a lot of people come and meet at, you know, our Rochester Park, so I think it's, you know, a great thing to be available, so. But that was my comment, so thank you for listening to me today, and I, you know, I appreciate to hear what you guys have to say. So.
Thank you for sharing. We appreciate it. Thank you. Holly, is there anybody at home with comments?
No, there is not anyone with their hand up.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, now, we're good? Yeah. Legislative deliberation, there is none, and reports and regular business. So the first thing is a consideration of the appointment of Nancy Stevens as the City of Rochester Poet Laureate. Megan, do you want to address it, or do you want?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Thank you. Bob Lytle, our current Poet Laureate, is ready to pass the torch after a wonderful tenure serving with the city. Strong support for the Rochester Poet Society and Bob's own endorsement. I'm pleased to bring forward Nancy Stevens for your consideration as our next Poet Laureate.
Okay. Do we have any questions about that from council members? Councilmember King?
What is it? No, you didn't know? You didn't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not familiar. Maybe a little.
Do you want to explain more?
A little background on it, if we know any?
I mean, they're available. For instance, my only interaction was at the Memorial Day Parade. And the Poet Laureate will recite a poem at that event. So my guess is that at events, they will interact, and Councilmember Trent has more info.
Just a little bit. Yes, I've known Bob Lytle, as we all have, for many, many years, but he speaks at the Memorial Day.
Yeah,
event
absolutely.
And other
Yeah.
events. It's actually.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. You know, many cities have a poet laureate. It's just someone we recognize in our community. They continue the art and appreciation for poetry, and they just serve as a part of our fabric of our community. And I was just happy to see that Bob was happy to pass the torch, because he has been just a gem, a treasure. And his creativity and his poetry have been wonderful. So I hope we still see him out and about, and but looking forward to hearing Nancy's poetry as well.
He actually still wants to do the Memorial Day, or not, they're in the park, the Memorial Day event. So we'll hear Bob one more time.
Great.
So, and then it will be passed on from there. So I believe we need a motion for this, correct? Correct. Motion from someone? Councilmember Trent?
I'll make a motion for the consideration of the appointment of Nancy Stevens as our new Rochester Poet Laureate.
Support. Councilmember Clauser, support. Roll call, please.
Jones?
Yes.
Vixen?
Yes.
Clauser?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
All right, moving on to consideration to approve the telecommunications permit and authorize the city clerk and city manager to execute the permit. City attorney, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Before you is a request from Metro FiberNet to get approval for their Metro Act permit. And I know that there are some council members that have been through this a number of times, but there's also some that haven't. So this is the Metro Act was the culmination of disputes between telecommunication providers and municipalities. Every city had different requirements, different obligations, put onerous obligations on telecommunications in their opinion. And so there was a lot of fights back in 2002. 2002 is when the Metro Act was enacted, and essentially this went to the MPSC, Michigan Public Safety Service Commission, and the cities were the ones that fought to keep out of the right of way, because the idea is it's running communication lines through right of way, and you'd say, well, city controls its own right of way, but it doesn't in this case. So the Metro Act was essentially put together as a meeting of the minds to put something in place that it was a standard application, standard permit. That's why you see this document is not anything that Metro FiberNet put together, but one that literally you find on the MPSC website. So as long as they meet the requirements, it is shall approve. As to Metro FiberNet, I'll have to say that they were probably the most prepared, most proactive in coming to the city. We actually had a meeting at DPW their team did just before they even applied. They said, this is what we're here, this is who we are, we're in the area. They actually have a location in the city of Rochester Hills, actual physical location, so that's a great thing that you don't typically see. And I believe that they're already in Rochester Hills, I believe Auburn Hills. So they're definitely, they're not a new company. They're working with T-Mobile is their underlying client. There's a lot of things that these companies have to go through. They actually have to get a license with the MPSC and they did theirs, and all that information is in the pack, but I just wanted to kind of bring you through to where we are today. There's a shot clock, we refer to it as. So when they provide a, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. So when they provide a completed application, the city has 45 days to approve or not approve. The reasons for non-approval are very difficult to meet, and there'd be some, like there's a problem with the company, there's a problem with the locations where they're planning on going. None of those things, I believe, exist in this case. So it would be it's a 15-year term. It's this is a bilateral permit. It's a permit for 15 years. They've paid their $500 fee. They have provided all the insurances, and there's indemnification, there's restoration requirements in the permit. So they're well versed in this program, and the city has done a number of these since 2002. This is the next one, and I don't see any reason to hold this permit up. You'll see, one of the things that people do ask is, when they're going through, well, how do they know where to go? Well, first of all, they get approval, they have their people, they come out, and they actually figure out exactly where, based on meetings with the engineers, with the DPW, to make sure that there's no conflicts. They do misdig, but they also take thoughts and recommendations for, maybe it has to be on this side of the road because we have too much stuff on this side of the road. So tonight doesn't end the discussion with them. This gets it to the point where it's approved, and there's requirements for them to provide what they call as-built, like wherever there's a line that they end up putting in, they have to provide that to us. So we have a good record of that. And I don't believe I don't have any hesitation with them moving forward with this permit. So in fact, this is so regulated that we actually have to let them know when their application is deemed complete, which I did. And also, once the city approves it, I actually have to formally provide the MPSC notification that we took timely action on it and that it was approved. So it's very, like I said, there's really no changes in the documents at all because they're the standard. You can push print online, and that's what they signed and filled in the blanks. So it would be my recommendation to approve the Metro FiberNet Metro Act permit. There's an application permit, so you'd be approving the permit and authorizing the city administration and the city manager and the city clerk to sign that. So that's would be my requested action tonight.
Council, questions?
No, well, no questions. I'll just make a motion, but I'll wait.
No, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna
Make a motion to approve the telecommunications permit, authorize city clerk and city manager to execute the permit.
Motion by Hauser, support?
Support, and I have a question.
Sure.
So I believe as part of the Metro Act, the city does receive some sort of fees or state funds as a result of being part of this. Is that true? I don't see anyone from Team Finance here.
I believe that those are the PEG fees that you'd be referring to. So I don't think that's they do have an obligation for yearly payments based on the lines. But I would, Mr. Whitfield, is online. Perhaps he can answer that. He lives and breathes this, so.
Sure.
Mr.
Since
Whitfield,
he's here online, let's.
Mr. Whitfield?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Telly Whitfield with Metronet. Thanks for taking up our permit application. Yes, by state statute, the city will actually get an annual compensation, 5 cents per linear foot of new infrastructure that we provide.
Okay, thank you. And then I guess the other, just really also clarification is that once this permit, assuming it's approved, then you'll still be working with DPW Director Nick Schaefer on each and every project. And so we'll review that before any digging or whatever takes place.
Yes, absolutely. So we still have, we're in the midst of pre-engineering right now. We'll have a design that should be completed in the next couple weeks. Before we get to construction kickoff, obviously we needed to have this formal action to take place. We'll be working with DPW as well as the State Department of Roads for any state roads that go through as well for actual construction permits. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And we do participate, as the city attorney mentioned, we do participate in the MISDIG program as well. So we're very familiar with utility locating.
Sounds like we just need a roll call.
Jones?
Oh, do I have another question? I'm
Sorry, I just had a question.
Sure.
Unrelated to this application, but I know about a year ago, we approved another one of these. Has there been any construction under that, do we know?
We approve on
There
this?
has. Yes, there has been. So they actually followed through, did good restoration last fall. I think they're starting again in the spring. I can't, you remember the name?
Easy
Nick?
Fiber.
That's
Yes.
it.
Texas, right? In Texas,
Texas.
yes. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
but
I had to get the name for you.
They did well. We've had some in the past that were a little challenging on restoration, but we had great cooperation from Easy
So
Fiber.
that was restoring what was there. Okay,
Once they dig up the spots, get them done back how they're supposed to be.
okay.
So do we know if they're, I'm looking at the route map, do the routes overlap? And is there any
Most likely.
concern from,
There's repetitive
All over the
routes
place.
everywhere, which when they first come in, we talked to them about, do we need another telecommunicator in town? But Mr. Whitfield could tell you that they make that determination, and they do, that's repetitive, absolutely.
okay.
Do you want to ask them any specifics more than that, or?
No, I was just
Good
curious.
questions.
Yeah.
Good questions, yeah. Anyone else? Sounds like we can move forward then with a roll call.
Okay, Jones?
Yes.
Vixen?
Yes.
Clauser?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes. Masha?
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Next, consideration of a resolution designating individuals authorized to sign documents for the Michigan Department of Transportation Main Street project, and again, city attorney. Oh, no, Nick Schaefer.
Yeah, thank you. So MDOT is in the process of getting easements together for the Main Street project. And so they're coming in, we're reviewing them, but we have to sign off on them. So they're looking for a resolution for Nick and myself to be able to sign those documents as they come in.
Council questions, yes.
Question, so for the public, maybe just if we could give an update on the timeline, because, it's spring, which means pothole season. And so as you're coming up Rochester Road, they're already doing construction down there, so maybe just an update on what we think the timeline will be.
Sure, so it's gonna be a 2027 project for Rochester Hills, 2028 for us.
And so Rochester Hills will go Rochester Hills up to
Yep, from the
The start.
freeway to the bridge.
freeway to our bridge,
Yeah.
and then our project will go from Dairy Queen to Tinkin,
Correct.
2028. Get ready.
Yeah, and just for the record, for the public, it was on Channel 7, actually, from Avon to our bridge is destroyed.
Oh, it's bad.
That will not get done this year. They're gonna they will come back and hot patch it though, which will get us through the summer. They can't do that in the winter, so they're out there literally every day patching right now. As soon as the temperature breaks, they can at least hot patch them in, but that will not take place for another year, so they have to get through another winter. And they know that, but the funding wasn't there, so.
Councilmember King.
So the Rochester portion, it only goes to the Dairy Queen?
No, bridge to Tinkin.
Oh,
Dairy
all the way to
Queen
Tinkin.
to Tinkin.
Dairy Queen,
Yeah.
Tinkin, okay, thank you.
Bridge. Okay. He's saying bridge.
Yeah, Rochester Hills is from wherever they're doing construction now up to our bridge. So like where Chief Financial Credit Union is.
Okay.
That
So
bridge, the
from
big
there
bridge.
forward.
No,
No,
and then Dairy
south of
Queen
there.
for.
Skip
So,
downtown.
Do we skip downtown?
And-
We already
That's a
did
point.
downtown.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
pick up at the Dairy Queen all the way to Tinkin in 28.
28,
Yeah.
okay.
But people are going to be asking about south of the bridge because it's bad. So that's 2027.
Yeah, okay, good point.
All right, so I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor and interim city clerk, Megan Frazzo, to authorize these documents.
Do I have to read the resolution?
I thought it was city manager and
Oh, okay.
DPW manager.
Request for Nick and Nick to sign it.
Okay, so they just sign it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a motion to have Nick and Nick sign off on that.
Support.
All right, motion by Salvia, support by Hauser. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Jones,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Clauser,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Salvia,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, the reports from various boards and commissions. Unfortunately, fortunately, gone for Raya and Historical Commission. So I will double up next month and give both months' reports. Report from Planning Commission, Councilmember Hauser.
Certainly. Just a second here. Okay, so we had a meeting on April 6th. A few projects came before us. One was a site plan review for a material change on South Street. There were no issues with that proposal, as it actually aligned with what had been initially proposed by our city planner, so that passed. Next project was 235 South Main Street. In this instance, Planning Commission was presented with a situation where there was a change in the design of the roof line. The problem, however, was that work had commenced before coming to the Planning Commission for site plan approval. The motion to set the matter for public hearing did not pass. It's my understanding that the city is going to meet and confer with the property owner to come up with a proposal that will ultimately be brought back to the Planning Commission. 134 South Main Street. This was for the site of the proposed new Lucido Jewelers location, the former Armitage Gallery there. The ask before Planning Commission was twofold. One was to approve the site plan, but also to request payment in lieu of 49 parking spaces. With respect to the site plan, there were a few comments, but otherwise it was very well received. As for the parking spots, this was certainly a significant ask, but in the packet, Planning Commission was presented with a significant amount of data regarding parking capacity in the area. Studies included capacity done on lots 4, 12, and the west deck over a series of dates and times. The applicant also provided us with metrics as to the square footage that would be used exclusively for retail, as well as the number of customers that were in the store over a certain period of time, over 52 weeks of the year. Based on those metrics and based on the information that was provided, as well as a comment from a planning commissioner who was also on the parking advisory committee, the planning commission unanimously felt that there was sufficient capacity to grant the request and that the payment in lieu of parking was accepted, and they will be paying $49,000 for those spots. Whether they do it in a lump sum or whether they come before city council asking for a payment plan is to be determined, but they don't necessarily need to do that until they get their certificate of occupancy. With respect to the other project, 824 Miller, this is a small little structure that is owned by Consumers Energy. It serves as a natural gas regulator valve station and was constructed, I think, Nick, was it back in like 62? Yeah. You've probably driven by it or walked by it. It's a little house that's nondescript on a little parcel of property, and they want to make some updates to it, install some new equipment, and put a fence around the property line. They had some preliminary plans. However, those plans were a little bit vague and lacked some detail that the PC was looking for. And Planning Commission also had some concerns about the style, the aesthetics of the building and the fence. PC asked that the applicant come back at the next meeting with some more detail with respect to the drawings and what they had intended to do. And most importantly, the property owner directly adjacent to the facility came up and spoke, and we had some questions for him, and he needed some clarification. So I think they will come back, listen to what the neighbor had said, and I think we'll probably be in a better position to discuss that plan. And then finally, I want to recognize the retirement of Vidya Krishnan, who was the city planner for as long as I've been on planning commission, and I'm sure it was, 15 years or 20 years, Nick? Yeah, so Vidya retired, and in her place will be Lori Morgan. She was in attendance at the planning commission meeting. She's also with McKenna. She will actually be present at the meetings. So Vidya was more remote and certainly was qualified and capable to do it remotely, but Lori will be here in person for all of the future meetings. And I expect her to pick up where Vidya left off. She seemed incredibly competent and very capable of addressing all the questions and concerns that the Planning Commission had. That is the update. Happy to take any questions or comments about what I just said. Looking at you, Marilyn.
Thorough,
Nothing?
very
Okay,
thorough.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to help.
City Beautiful Commission, Councilmember Clauser.
Yeah, at our last meeting, I think the majority of it was spent Nick giving us an update on all the amazing projects we have going on around town and in our parks. But a couple of things we talked about: Arbor Day, April 22nd, 10 a.m. here at City Hall. Someone else will probably have more details. We talked about the Bird City certification. We talked about having a migratory bird walk on Wednesday, May 6th, if anyone's interested in that, at the Municipal Park. And then we talked about some of our goals and objectives for this coming summer. We still have the nature sound amplifier in the works. We're partnering with a Boy Scout who's getting his Eagle Scout certification. We talked about the raised sensory beds that are over by the All Abilities Park. We planted plants last year and they've gotten eaten by all the wildlife. So we are replanting, and it will be a sensory park if we can get things to grow. And then I think ideally we would have, signage, and you could scan it with a QR code so you can get the sensory experience if we can get something to grow there. So that's the goal number one. We talked about rain gardens in the park that we're gonna work on with Colin and the park team. And I think that was about it.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
What time is the migratory bird walk? Are you just gonna have more information on it?
It's 6:30.
Yes, oh yeah, that's right, 6:30. We're trying to
And
catch
then
it when the birds are.
you meet where in the park? Somewhere?
I believe at the Sundial.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Sounds like Councilmember Trent might be on that one.
And you should get the app that Nick has before you go.
I have the app, I got it. Nick
It's a
helped
good
me.
app.
Merlin, when I was in North Carolina, I was listening to the birds. It's very cool. I don't think I was doing it quite right, but we gotta meet over that. Okay, a report from the CAT Committee, Councilmember King.
All right. Well, first, good luck on the sensory garden. There are 5 or 6 deer that hang out in the Memorial Grove, the All Abilities Park there every morning. So,
Waiting for breakfast.
yes, they're, I'm sure, they're not eating the turf, so they're chowing down on those plants, I'm sure.
They're
I don't
at a nice level.
Yes. Okay, so CAT committee. So we lost our leader here when Chief John retired. But so Christian and Marilyn and I have been planning, and we've also been conversing with a couple of the nonprofits that we work with, and we're really thankful that they have been willing to help us. One of the cat colonies on the Taylor Castell 4th Street area that has one of the largest colonies, they had more kittens come in. Not from the existing cats. A mother cat dumped some kittens there in the fall, or really close into the winter, and they couldn't trap in the winter because you can't leave them out there and trapped in a cage in the cold. And so we had the rescue group go out. They were just out there, I think, over spring break, and they got those 3 kittens, and they took them in and they got them neutered or fixed, and they will be relocating and adopting them out to other families. So that's wonderful. They have committed to us that they will come back. There are 2 to 4 of the other 8 adult cats that live there that are potentially friendly enough where they could go to other homes, and so we have been working with them to try to get those adult cats out. They've committed to us, I think, by June, that those numbers should be reduced. The volunteer that we're working with, she works full-time as a teacher.
Oh.
This is a busy time of year for her, and she's doing this, in her own free time. So she's going to be continuing to help us. And we do have 2 feeders in that area that we know of. There's one on 4th Street, and then there's also one on University. So that does help to split it up a little, but there are quite a few number of cats there. We also investigated, and this was in Nick's manager's report, a reported colony on William Street after a resident had expressed concern about a large number of cats. I think they claimed there were 24. There are, in fact, 4 cats. They've been there for about 7 years. They were fixed and spayed. They were all, feral cats. They were fixed and spayed by the resident at her own, cost. And she continues to feed them. She's following all of our established protocols. And she puts the food out in the evening for about an hour, and then she takes it away. So, we did look into that situation, and I think it's, under control, and she's following the protocols that we put in place. And then with the departure of Chief John, who had been coordinating efforts between the rescue groups, residents, he was managing who the designated feeders were, making sure they were well educated, following the right protocols. We really need a point person within the city for this. And so we have talked with Nick potentially about, as we look for a part-time code enforcement officer, potentially having that person also be the cat resource, the TNVR, program administrator. We thought that, it's not a full-time job. It's, seasonal as we come into spring and it's kitten season. It's, staying on top of it and just being that resource. So we were hoping that that could be part of the job description. I think if the council is supportive of that, I think Nick was, willing to do that and have that be part of it. And we're at probably the right place in the hiring process to do it. And then lastly, we want to establish just a very modest budget to support the TNVR program, maybe up to $1,000. In the past, the fire chief had utilized his community engagement funds, but we don't think that's the right way to do it. We'd rather have a separate allocation specifically for this. The specific appointments for spay and neuter, so the thought is the funds are really just strictly for spay and neuter, to control the population and control the problem. It would not be providing food to the feeders on an ongoing basis. For that, we would like to do food drives and have that be donation-based. And a lot of people, myself, others on council, others in the community have been donating to the feeders. So this is really just for controlling the population. It costs anywhere from $30 to roughly $75 per appointment, but then there's also, they have to house them for a couple of days. They may need to board them somewhere. They need to feed them. So we've been, providing enough to cover those costs. And so we want to be able to make sure that we have a little bit of a budget so we can help control the problem and not have it continue to spread and have this as a resource for the community. So that would kind of be the ask from the CAT committee. And if we want to make a motion to support those items, or if we want to have it at a different agenda item or a different meeting, we can do that.
Do we need to motion to accept those?
Yeah.
Well, first off, council member questions. That was a great report, very thorough. Sounds like you're on the right path. Council member Clausen.
So I wasn't here when the CAT committee started, so, but I,
You probably would have wanted to be on it, right?
I might have.
Because they were lying.
We're open for,
More people?
Well, you can,
We can't.
drop out. For consideration.
Yeah.
But what, I guess where I'm going with this is, so I feel like when I've run into residents, I have still heard that this is an issue. And so just wondering, how are we determining if our CAT committee efforts are working, or if there's still an issue? And I know you named a couple of different things, but is there, like, do we have a number of cats we're keeping track of, or how do we know?
we do loosely, with Chief John leaving, like having somebody in the city that can track and keep, track of all of those things would be very helpful. We're trying to keep track. So there are roughly 8 cats at the Taylor Castell 4th Street. There are 4 cats on William Street. There have been 3 cats on Griggs. a couple years ago, this all started between the Griggs and the Taylor Street area. Griggs had 3 litters of, I think anywhere, each litter had 5 to 8 cats or kittens in one season. And that was quickly going to get out of control, right?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden there were, I think about 17 cats in the area. And so we, as a community, or as a council, decided to put together like a little committee to try to tackle this. And we reached out to, some nonprofits who were willing to help educate us and then help educate residents and help us trap and, try to control the population. The challenge is with some of the adult cats, people say, well, we just want them gone and we just want to put them in barns. There are very few resources out there for relocating them, and you can't just like take them from one habitat and throw them in the woods somewhere because you're just killing them, basically. They won't survive. And so the humane way to do it is to leave them to kind of live out their lives where they are, if they are truly feral and they're unable to be relocated into a home. But if we're able to get them while they're younger and reduce the spread, have them, go and be adopted, that's the ideal situation.
I didn't know you knew so much about cats.
Well, and I do have to say
It's
that
been a
the
learning.
CAP committee has worked extremely hard. This is not a fun committee probably to be on, but, and I think we have to be very careful that we're representing those families that have 7 cats in their backyard that are not feeders and not supportive. I think the balancing act on this has been probably the hardest thing we've ever had to do, at least in my time here. So, I think it's great, the path you're on, and you definitely have decreased, the population has been decreased. My only point, would be as far as the feeding part, I think to support those people not happy with the cats, as a council, I don't want to support a food drive of any sort. If individuals want to do a food drive, not as a council representing the council, I'm fine with that. But I would not support that part. I understand the $1,000 for the other piece. It makes sense. We almost have to do it, so.
Yeah, so I have an argument with that. We're not using tax dollars. I think a food drive would be, we put a bin out and people in the community, we advertise that people in the community could bring food in.
I would not support it.
We're asking residents to help us to take care of these animals
I mean,
on
there's
an
a
ongoing
poster at the
basis.
post office. Every single person in Rochester sees it. So there is definitely food.
This shouldn't be coming from a single individual.
I agree.
It should be anybody who volunteers to take on this burden of, feeding the cats in the community. If they're looking for assistance, they could come in and pick up some of the food, that's available.
Let's hear other council members' points. Stuart, you were headed for.
Well, I had a question, if we're gonna have this new person that we're hiring, he's gonna give me an hourly person, correct? So how much time are we looking at? 'Cause this cat committee started as a nice cat committee, well now it's starting to grow a budget, it sounds like. How much is that? That's something we should know before I would vote for it.
And I don't even know where line item, where do we put such a line item?
Because the chief was kind of doing it with his
Under the
duties.
radar, sort of, too,
Well,
to be
as his
honest.
duties as a
Salary,
city
as a
employee,
salary,
where now this is extra cost. How much is
It'll be a city employee, a part-time employee, yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
so that's a good comment. Councilmember Trent.
Yeah, great input there and question.
Thank you, Brooke.
So that would be where we would define what the duties are and have a way to measure those duties of how much, the CAT committee has been doing some work, but I wouldn't say it's like hours per week. It may be some initial documenting of where the cats are, how many there are, and just have that as a report to keep, and then we know if we add more, they come up on another street. So this is a long answer to, I don't think it's going to take a lot of time. And I think that Chief Cieslik, there's a void, so we've got to fill it in. And I don't think we're asking any more than what Chief Cieslik did. However, we're asking for $1,000 for people who have taken on this as really a service, when I understand if you have a lot of cats and now we have less, some people are happier about it than when people that want none. Does that make sense?
That we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, that we're heading in the right direction, and it is a humane way to do it, and it is controversial. It truly is. And it's just controversial.
Councilmember Salvia. We'll get everybody.
Right, everybody's got to talk on this one. So I think I think Rochester is such an incredible community. We're recognized tonight as a bird city, and we have a cat committee. Cats and birds don't always get along, right? So I think that just speaks to how incredible Rochester is. So I would support a limited budget to just do the trap, neuter, release. I don't even know if it needs to be 1,000. If it's average $50, I don't know how many cats we're doing a year. Maybe it's 500. I might support that. I also personally would like to make a personal donation for the cat committee to have T-shirts. Because I think a cool cat committee like this needs T-shirts, and that'll help us get the word out about what we're doing. So that's a personal donation that I'd be happy to make.
We're kind of hoping this committee has a closure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is this isn't going on forever.
So I'm not even a cat person. I'll just put it out there. Like this wasn't. It wasn't that I just.
You aren't either.
Love the cats but this is. It's unfortunately I don't know that it ever has a closure. It's great. We take care of the issue, and then somebody else who's irresponsible allows their cat to get out, who's unvaccinated, who's unfixed, right? And then they get out and they make more cats, or they dump a cat, or they move and they leave their cat behind. This is how they get there, right? And then the problem starts again. And so, maybe for a year or two it's kind of quiet, or 6 months it's kind of quiet, and then we hear about other situations. I think in terms of like the job duties and what this person would do, it's not a significant amount of time, but Marilyn and Christian and I can't be available to go with the volunteers who thankfully are willing to work with us, because they don't have any obligation to the city to do this. But I can't go with them to coordinate and go to a resident's home, during the day and try to trap cats. There needs to be a point person that can take this on. And nobody in the city is willing to do it at this point. So that was the idea of like, hey, we're hiring somebody, they're doing code enforcement. They're already going to be out in the community looking at, issues and things that are going on. Why doesn't it become this person? I don't see it being like a full-time or a significant amount of time, but maybe it's a couple hours a week where they're coordinating between residents. They're going out, if there's an issue like the William Street that gets reported, they go to that house, they speak to them, they find out what the issue is, they can talk to the neighbor and hopefully maybe settle the issue as well. And then they track it. They have the numbers of like, here are the number of feeders, here are how many we think we have. And maybe it fizzles out because the problem goes away over time. That would be fantastic.
Let me have Councilmember Hauser.
Sure. So I guess I'm going to preface this by saying I'm really trying to strike a balance between what our goal is relative to differing point of views in the community, okay? And I appreciate everything that we've been doing to trap, neuter, vaccinate, and make sure that we get our arms around this situation. I also, and we all get the emails from the residents who live adjacent to some of these houses, and that there's clearly a problem. And I'm thinking hard, my knee-jerk reaction initially was, all right, let's just grab the cats and ship them away somewhere. I know that's not an option. I know that's not the reality. But I also think a house that has maybe a dozen or 10 or 9 cats also isn't sustainable. So I'm trying to figure out how do we reduce that number while still maintaining to our mission of this TNVR program, and so I think there's still some work that we can do internally on our commission or our committee here to figure that out. But the reality is it's tough to find people who want to be these designated feeders, because it is a lot of work. It is a big ask. And I even think the person who is handling a lot of this over on Taylor recognizes that's not sustainable. That person can't continue to feed 12 cats or 9 cats on their front porch, whatever it is. So I don't think we've necessarily resolved the issue. I think it's going to be a work in progress for some more. I'm okay with putting some money into getting this, the trap and neuter and release, I'm still not inclined to say yes on the money for the food, which I don't think was an ask. I have to think about the donation stuff and all that, because I'm concerned it's a slippery slope. If we say yes to one thing, then it opens the door for everything else that may come in. Okay, so that's just my initial thought, but, that's where I stand as of, 7:58 or 8:05 on
I think
April
what,
13th.
just to tag on to what you're saying, just about the food for a minute, what is hard for me in my mind, and I have a cat, so I am a cat lover, is that this whole discussion led into us coming up with an ordinance on ground feeding.
Right.
And the whole thing started with, we cannot feed any animals outside. Now, we've got this caveat that we can feed cats outside. So food and the city council being involved with providing it, even in a fundraising effort, I'm struggling with those two pieces coming together. Yes, Councilmember
Yes,
Trent.
I would like to say one more thing. To answer Mayor Pro Tem Bixon's comment about how much time it would take, it'll take as much time as this has been spread out throughout, from our city manager to chief, to fire chief, to department heads, where that time will be put into a lower, job.
Hourly rate.
An hourly wage, yeah, lower, maybe not right, but an hourly wage that I think anyone would be able to wrap their arms around that at that point, it would be, as we said, the CAT committee cannot be, taking down reports and going to homes and doing the work that we've been doing.
I agree with all of that. And I'm wondering, Councilmember Salvia's suggestion, what if we, and I don't know where this funding comes from, by the way. If could we start with $500? Maybe that'll make everybody more comfortable. If 500 is gone in 3 months, we say, okay, we gotta, what do you think, Councilmember King?
So the number came from Marcy because that's what has been spent. And
But on how many cats? Because I feel like the population is going down.
well, that was spent in one calendar year. Then there was another year where.
That's a calendar
yeah,
year.
Multiple calendar years?
Yeah, we've been doing this for.
Okay.
My only question then would be, but we've really cut down the I assume all the ones being fed on the front porch have all been fixed already.
Yes.
So these are only new cats.
It would just be for new cats.
Less.
Hopefully it would be less.
But your point is right, people let their cat out
Yeah,
and they don't.
and I don't think that I don't think the way that it was being paid is, okay, that appointment was a $30 appointment, or that appointment was a $75 appointment. I think it was like, you took this many cats, we're gonna give you this much towards it, because we know you also had to feed them, you had to house them. So it was maybe a little bit inflated. We can determine, do we only wanna pay for the appointment? And then, will they continue to help us if we're not helping with any of the other costs? I don't know.
Okay, so before we have a motion, do we have?
They may.
Where could this funding come from? Do we need to find?
City council budget?
It would have to be added to, it would be an amendment, so I talked to Marcy, it would be an amendment to the budget.
To the city council?
Yes.
Okay, does someone have a motion?
But that's
No,
just
go
for
ahead.
the spading, we're not talking about the
No food.
Not the
No,
code enforcement issue.
code enforcement.
Right,
Code
that's
enforcement.
not part of this conversation.
Yeah.
As far as I.
So we're
correct,
just
Sarah?
talking about, your ask is just financial.
Well, I mean, I have two recommendations. One, that we support the TNVR program, and we have a budget specifically for that, and it doesn't come out of some other community engagement thing, and, it has
clear.
its own line item, and that's what it is, and we can track it.
Okay.
And then the second piece would be, I can't manage this. Somebody in the city, we need an employee. And so my ask would be that it's the part-time code enforcement.
I don't think we vote on that. I
So
mean,
if
he
we don't wanna vote
decides
on
what
it,
the
that's
response.
fine.
Yeah, it's city manager will decide what his responsibilities
Okay,
are. I
so if we
think
don't
that's
need to
a-
vote on it, that's fine.
I think, but it makes sense, your suggestion.
Just a head nod to, just say.
Yeah, he'll just add that.
Well,
to
but
his-
that's a cost that he has to come back to us with.
No,
You can't just say.
It's just a
it'd be
job
part of
responsibility. It's just a job responsibility.
This is job duty.
Yeah.
Right, but it's adding cost to the city that we should have to vote on somehow.
Well, that's not how job descriptions work.
Well, no, not job description,
Well,
but
it is a job, job duty, I guess, job description, do we do that on any other?
It'll be a separate line item, it'll just be their job. If we gave it to Me.
Well, to
It's less
Councilmember Trent's point, city manager is salaried, but right now that is being done by other employees that maybe are salary, to what you're saying, but it's going now to an hourly employee, but it's still an employee, it's just moving buckets, it feels like a little bit. Councilmember Clauser.
I hate to overcomplicate this, but I'm wondering if because of how this is, to Councilmember Bixon's point, kind of escalating now into funding and a job duty and things, we have an ordinance that says you can't do this, so it feels like we need to have on paper somewhere, some kind of, this is an exception, here are the rules, maybe you have to be an authorized
It's in the
TNR.
ordinance.
Okay, we already have that.
We have designated
There
feeders.
is
They're
designated feeder
registered, so
can
we can
feed.
track.
In theory, it was the fire chief that was
allowed to.
allocating who a designated feeder was. There's guidelines around when you feed, how you feed.
Perfect. And so I guess that's what I was asking, if it needs to be documented, and then exactly what the $1,000 or whatever it is that we're gonna approve, what it can and cannot be used for. The same thing with, we have a job description as part of that charter. But it sounds like a lot of that's already done.
But I think that's a good point. So maybe what we should do, and I'm just throwing a curveball here, I don't mean to do it. Maybe Marilyn and Sarah and I will go back and kind of come up with a proposal, monetary, what it can be used for, and maybe frame it out a little bit better so we can distribute it maybe at the next meeting, so there's no confusion on that issue. And maybe that'll give us some time to talk to Nick.
And because we just had it listed as a report,
Yeah, we don't,
this is turning into a vote.
to vote on it,
And so
but-
public that reads our agenda didn't see that maybe would want to come and speak, did not see this as the agenda item. So good point. That's great. Councilmember House, that's a great suggestion.
Thanks.
And I just have
Mayor Pro Tem.
one last thing on I guess my impression was the fire chief was doing a little bit here and there. This now sounds more.
I think he was doing more.
Okay, well, I don't, right, well, he was doing a lot. I don't think we ever, agreed to that up here.
Well,
And if we do, that's fine, but I mean, it's like all of a sudden, the fire chief is out doing all this stuff. I didn't know that. I mean, I knew he was talking to a couple people about cats, but I didn't realize he was out doing billable work on a regular basis, which is what it sounds like. Well, I'm not sure I'm for that. That's all I'm saying.
okay. All right.
It's like mission creep, not in a time when mission creep is in the news.
Councilmember King.
I would say to that, though, we have provided updates on a
Oh, yeah.
very regular basis. There's obviously been a lot of work, so.
Right, but I thought the work was
Somebody's
with
been
the
doing it.
committee, not necessarily the cities, but that's fine.
Councilmember Trent.
Well,
And we thought this was.
I mean, he was doing the work, and now we know that he was doing the work. Something needs to be done about it. That's all I'm saying, that it's not gonna work if no one does the work. That's all there is to it. So would you like to swap us out on our committee and help us out?
Well, if Nick's paying my salary, I guess I would,
All right.
I think we've discussed
I
this
think it's
thoroughly,
yes, yes.
and we thought this was gonna be a short committee. I knew when I saw the cat committee update.
Well, you gotta make sure it's thoroughly.
I'm glad we had the discussion, and they'll circle back around. All right, is there any public comment, whether here or online, Holly?
There is no one online.
Thank you. There is no general, now we do general miscellaneous. Start. Is that where I am? And, okay, city manager.
Unfortunately, I just have one sad thing. I think most of you heard, but it happened after the manager's report went on Friday. So Bob Tyrell, one of the loved firemen for decades and decades with Chief John, passed away this weekend. He's a trooper. He's been around forever. Big smile, big presence, always there. Even after he retired, he's at the fire hall, just firing the guys up all the time and women down there. So he passed this weekend. He's in a better place. He was struggling for a bit. So they're going to give us the details when I'll get that out to you. Forget Friday. If it's before that, I'll let you know right away. So that's all.
City attorney,
Nothing, thank you.
we'll start with you.
Yes, I'd like to thank the DPW for putting the tennis court And that's up. I think that's a true sign that spring is here and now the weather is getting well. And then my second thing is I would be amiss if I didn't congratulate the Michigan basketball team for the national championship.
Go Blue.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Hockey
You were
came
there.
so close. That was, I know. Councilmember Trent?
Hey, just a couple of things. I listened to the MML, Michigan Municipal League, Live with the League on Mondays at noon. And today they were talking about the continuing opposition to the recent legislation of House Bills 5529 through 32 and 5581 through 5585 to strip local governments of their decision-making authority over housing. So, several communities around the state have passed resolutions expressing their opposition. Sample resolutions are available at Resources and Research page of their website, the mml.org, and you can view City of Belleville, City of Cadillac, City of Mount Clemens, City of Linden, City of Livonia. So, we encourage you to, I'm part of the league now. They encourage you to continue to be active in your opposition and adopt the resolution opposing this legislation. Once adopted, share it with your legislators, the governor, your residents, and others who may be concerned about the erosion of local decision-making to support our efforts to push back against this legislation. And at the end, they also recommended cities to update their zoning, because that is one of the problems, and that is it sounds like one of the things that they're saying is that zoning is outdated, and the state wants to jump in to address these affordable housing issues. So, and that's what was brought up, and I thought, we are working on our zoning and updating it. That's what I thought. Then, no. And number two, I'm part of the CISMA Outreach Subcommittee, and that is Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area. And okay, I can tell you, department head here, Nick Schaefer, understands the problems with invasive species. And so things like buckthorn and autumn olive and Japanese barberry, of which I think that possibly buckthorn and some others you are had to address and dig up as they invade our natural areas. So we are working on brochures, the committee is, and we will have 4,000 copies of the general CISMA brochure available, because these CISMAs are in every county or every region. They are across the state, because it is a financial problem and it is an ecological problem. The financial problem is that for the past 10 years, the state of Michigan has spent $30 to $40 million in grants to get rid of buckthorn and autumn olive, and Japanese barberry, and Callery pear is on the top invasive species. That the growers grow them, the nurseries sell them, and on the other hand, the DPWs and municipalities are digging them up and trying to manage them in our natural areas. That's the problem. So now they I testified at the Michigan Department of the Agricultural Commission to discuss this as a cost to taxpayers and the cost to municipalities. So hopefully the top 6 of these are going to be regulated more, and they might be looking at 70 more. So get prepared. And we also will have brochures on their woody invasives. And what is an invasive species? Well, it is a plant that is sold or introduced in our landscapes that go past that, and they outcompete our other native plants, and you know what they are. I do. And they are problems. Yeah, so we're addressing that. So any questions you have about invasive species, just let me know. I know it keeps you guys up at night.
Thank you for doing all that extra that you do for our city. We appreciate it. Councilmember Hauser?
Sure. Just very briefly, you will all remember a few months ago, Chief George and Police Officer Brenda Hogue came before City Council to talk about the SAVES project that they were coming up with. And I have to tell you, I've been asked to be on the Board of Advisors, which has been really, really, a great experience for me personally. And this program, you'll recall, was created to increase awareness and to provide education for first responders in interacting with vulnerable individuals when they're, either they're pulled over or there's some interaction or there's some stress that's going on. And it's really taken off. I mean, he's told me there's 12 police departments that are now have this as part of their program. Oakland County Sheriff just signed on. Michigan State Police and the City of Detroit police agencies are all trying to see if this is going to be something that they're going to work with. So it's gone gangbusters. So they're doing a fundraiser on April 23rd at the Roxy from 6 to 9:30. There's a strolling dinner, cocktails, there'll be entertainment, and general admission is $100. Okay, it's a $100 ticket, and everything goes to the Safes Project. There's opportunities for sponsorships, for VIP, et cetera, but next Thursday, April 23rd, from 6 to 9:30 at the Roxy. And if there's a program you want to sponsor or help out, it's this one. It is absolutely across the hallway here that started it. It's a really, really great program. So wish them nothing but the best of success. Thank you. That's it.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Councilmember Slavy.
And in case you're wondering what to do the day before, it would be April 22nd. That is our very special celebration where we are celebrating Arbor Day, Earth Day, and America 250 by recognizing our city clerks. We've had 3 and now an interim. So I need to know, like for the history annals, do we now say we have had 4? So 4 city clerks. And so we're recognizing Leanne by planting trees in their honor. And so 10 a.m. out front of City Hall. The public is welcome. I hope all of council is there.
Thank you for sharing that. Councilmember King.
Nothing else this evening.
I just wanted to thank the Rochester High School students that were here and gave that presentation. As someone who's passionate about health and wellness, not only through my work at Blue Cross, Blue Shield of Michigan, but also here in our community, I just think it's especially important that they are, I should say I deeply appreciate their education and preventative measures, especially at such a young age. And so I should have said it when they were here, but didn't want to miss the opportunity. So that was it. That's all I got.
Just 2 quick things. One, I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem for taking over while I was out of town, and everyone else who did all that they did when I was gone. I appreciated that support. And also exciting to see all the action going on with the parks, going down Ludlow. It's like completely torn up. And so I want to kick it to you for a minute just to give us an update about the trails, both trails, and what's going on.
Yep, it's great, thank you. So Trail 1 blowout, we call it the Trident blowout. It's down from the bridge along the asphalt on Suave's property. So that was completed. All the rocks got in the river. We're thankful that Trident gave us a 17-foot easement so we could straighten the trail out and save $300,000 in having to, we were able to take rocks to make the slope a lot more gradual. And that's complete. They're now restoring Suave's property. They'll pave that last little section. The plant should open, Nick, in the next week or so. And then they can get that done. We'll be down there. And then a little bit further down, right by Elizabeth, where the Paint Creek Trail comes into the Clinton River Trail, there's a donation there for a residential roundabout. There's gonna be some benches, and it's gonna be improved with someone's donation, so our staff has been working, prepping the ground.
Where's that again?
Right at right when you
The
come
intersection
down,
of the Clinton River and the
the
Paint
2
Creek
rivers
Trail.
come together.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It's like a little sitting area and.
Yeah.
Like that little manufacturing plant.
Yes, yep, right
That
across from
factory that's right there. I love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and somebody that money, and they wanted that specifically, some
Good
benches,
spot.
some trash cans, and
Love that.
so that's going, and then the big trail, obviously the weather's been pretty tough, so they need compaction in the blue clay that we have at our yard, so probably in the next 2 weeks. There you go, mobilizing this week,
Mobilizing.
so, they will start that process to fill in the blowout, restore it, and then we're putting a wooden, I think it's a split rail fence all along where the heron rookery is, stabilizing that bank. And the key there is, it took a year, but Eagle gave us a permit to put 2 or 3 culverts that are underneath the new, walkway. That will relieve that pressure, or control how deep the water is in the rookery. You didn't need 10 feet there, and that's what was putting the pressure on the bank, so it's gonna hold that, I think it's 3 foot 6 inches. The water will be standing there, that's good for the herons in the rookery. It'll detain that water, but they don't free flow to the, Clinton River, so a good scenario. The Paint Creek, Nick, you should be doing this, the Paint Creek Trail Bridge complete restoration. Now the next phase is to clean out or, scour and reestablish the trail all the way from Ludlow all the way to Tinkin. So, you can get across it now, but it's pretty messed up still. They'll have the material or the, material moving machines will be gone any day because solar Onyx is about to come down, like this week. End of the week, I think they got their permits all set to demolish that building and then start, working with the Trail Commission. Marilyn and I were talking about that today, to restore a 19-foot easement along the trail with more vegetation, get going with their underground. It's an 18-month build-out for that project, but they're excited, they're ready to go. They own the property now, so that one's going. Ludlow, tot lot, ran into a lot more mess than they thought, a lot more concrete underground, but it's all, as of today, it's all off-site now. They hauled it to the top of the community house hill. It's all gone now. So now they're gonna, the contractor's been great, and we're gonna put in a drainage system there. You know, it was always wet in that one spot. They're gonna drain that now into a catch basin, so that'll take care of that. But people are calling like crazy about buying benches right there to sit and look at the playground instead of, not having that. There's that cement wall that you can sit on, but they're looking at benches. And then a couple of people, including Marcy, were really pushing for maybe a shelter or 2 shelters like we have at the Sugar Maple Grove, so people get some shade while they're sitting there. We can get, I love doing this, we can get it sponsored. I guarantee you, someone will sponsor that. Our guys built them last time, and, but I think that would be great to have that there. And then trail, and then the committee's still working on the final plans for the other tot lot over the bridge.
What's estimated on Ludlow completion about?
Nick, is that like into the summer, mid-July? For
Ludlow?
Ludlow, yeah, we're thinking about 3 months, obviously,
Yeah.
for arts and apples, so that's our.
Yeah, that's the cutoff.
Before Arts and Apples.
Yeah, and then
It's a good
finally,
goal.
The other one won't be started till after Arts and Apples.
correct.
Yeah.
And then finally, today, we had a groundbreaking for the new skate park. So DPW, to save some money, took, Jason, is training guys on the big Bobcat, got rid of the, quarter tennis court, dug it out, there's still more to go. They have to go 12 inches and then 24 in a couple spots. And then that's gonna be done by mid-July, I think.
That's what
at
they
the
said.
latest.
They
Yeah,
said
so
before the
once they get the
fall,
prep
I
done,
thought.
it goes fast. It's pouring concrete, installing the apertures and, get the entranceway done. And we'll reevaluate how it all looks when we're there, but, some people were there from the community, the skate community today. That was a good moment, good picture moment. We'll get that in the newspaper. Again, people want to sponsor benches there and stuff, that's great. All that can just be plowed back into that project, because there's room for more equipment and a pump track and things, so, and we're not using taxpayer dollars, it was all basically, well, it's bond dollars, but it's, one thing sponsored.
That's taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, it is, technically, you're right. So, but it's not, there's opportunities for sponsorship there to make.
Yeah, and a lot of donations that helped with some of these extra things we want to do.
That's true. And we are still in for a grant, I think, for some shade structure
we
there
are.
as well.
Yep, we are.
Councilmember King?
With the trail washouts coming in under budget and having the grant money there, have we explored with that organization if we could potentially use those funds for resurfacing and addressing the trail between the 2 park entrances? It is so wet. It's terrible. I've been out there and if we could raise it up a few inches, if we had better drainage. Yeah, it's just, it's bad.
You know what I'm talking about?
I would love that to be
Yeah,
addressed.
I do. So there's, believe it or not, there is a fix. It gets fixed once a year, but then in the spring, it's a drain that has to be unplugged all the time. But we're not making any commitment on what dollars we have from the trail until the trail is done.
Sure.
And then if there's $1.2 million left, we'll be back in front of your body to see what you would like to do with that money. But, it's not as simple as just raising that trail. You have to build a drainage system. We've been looking at this for decades, so.
I know, we cleaned it out in the spring last year,
Yeah.
and then by the fall, it was
It's
still,
filled
I mean,
again,
it was, yeah.
Yeah, it needs a
It's
more
still
permanent fix, but, that'll come back to council at some point, once we know if we have funding. Or in next year's planning, if that's something that's important to us, we would ask for that in our budget ask, so, sure. I think that's it.
Two things. Did we ever remember when Rep. Tisdale was here, there was questions about the community house?
Yeah, so we do have the 2 million, and now we asked for 1.3 more, and talked to his staff, actually, they came in and met with me last week. They're feeling really good about it, which would be awesome, which means that would cover everything. So, Yeah, that's his number one priority. He didn't ask for anything else. The staff were very excited about saying, it meets all the criteria of this round, the adjusted round from the legislature, so fingers crossed, that would be awesome. That would free up more of the bond money, so.
And then what about the building when you first come into town? What's going on with
Yep,
that?
so
The old,
good question. So what Christian was talking about, the cleaners is one that's being gone. The first one, the tenant that was going there is a,
Physical therapist.
Right.
yeah, it's not, he gets mad when
It's
you
a
call him
wellness-
that.
a
It's a
wellness
wellness center.
It's a wellness
So
center.
after everything got approved, he went in to get his, I'm just telling you the whole story. Went to get his lease signed. The Rileys who own the building ghosted him for 3 weeks. And he's like, well, I signed and you designed my building. I paid my architect. And then they were taking a walk. They live on Griggs. They were taking a walk and saw the Hill Road property. They went in and bought the Hill Road property. So he said, I'd rather own the property than pay the Rileys rent forever. So now that's got to go to the planning commission. And it's a very soft use. So it'll be a special project act, and it's a real low-key thing. I believe they would have a good chance with the neighbors. A lot of their clients live in the neighborhood, so, having said all that, we wrote a letter of, okay, now you don't have a tenant, we're gonna make you tear the building down or fix it. So they came in last Thursday with their permits and said, even without them as a tenant, we like the building layout, we're just gonna build it. So suspect to see the construction start in the next couple of weeks. So, without a tenant. So, yeah.
It's already been approved, so they can build it.
And they're approved at a high parking rate, so they could put pretty much anything in there, so. But yeah, they're gonna go ahead with that exact building that was gonna be built, just
Okay.
not for that tenant.
And maybe find someone down the road.
Yeah, it'll be,
They're working with some people.
wow, that's a lot going on.
Yes.
Councilmember King.
Isn't that 134 South Main, which said in the manager's report that it was not approved at planning?
It was not what? No, that's 120 is the collision shop, 134 was the, Christian got him back.
Well, that was
With a
discussing.
roof, with a roof
260
line.
was Lucido's, you had the.
Oh, did I screw?
134 was declined at planning, or did
That-
you have the wrong number?
They changed, yeah,
The
the
facade.
roof line was different, the facade, and so they have to come, they're gonna meet, I believe, with
They
you.
did, we did.
Yeah, they met with Nick, and they're gonna come up with something to see if they can
But
address
that's
it.
the one that would have been, now
No.
has no
No, it's the
tenant.
next door.
That's the financial
dry
team.
cleaning.
The wealth manager.
Yeah, the
Yes.
wealth
There's the
manager.
cleaners and the
It's the
collision
Bellotti
center.
family office.
It's a mess now.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, they've got the goal is to put it, just don't go back to planning, just build what they said they're gonna build. They structurally have some issues, but they're trying to work it out.
Yeah.
I met with them last week, so.
Wow,
And the elevator, check it out, it's cranking, man, they're going above.
yeah.
Window.
Yeah,
walls
it
are
is.
up.
It is gone.
So nice.
Yeah, okay, I make a motion to end this meeting at 8:32.
And what's with the body donation program? Who, Megan, do you know?
The city entered into an agreement back in 2020